I don't like the concept. I feel like I'm on here talking to myself. So if people come on here and talk to me, then I will go live way more.
I would say I don't like going live for the same reason.
Hi, y'all.
Hi.
And as I say, don't nobody come in
Right,
here. Oh,
everybody
see.
want to be in here today, right? That's how it goes. That's universe. That's literally how it works. Like that's how this process works.
Oh, that's funny. Look at y'all. Hi, y'all.
Oh
Peace
my
and
lord.
love, family.
Yes.
Um, we're going to have a conversation today, but I don't think I'm going to stay live the whole time because I want y'all to go back and watch the video.
Yeah.
That makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. If y'all keep hanging out with me on lives, then I will go live way more often.
Right. And we need like better ideas or like a better sense of what scheduling looks like.
Oh, I should talk in the microphone because it's being
Yes.
recorded
So we're recording.
here.
We're recording and we're
There,
recording.
and
I
there.
just like those types
It's
of
a lot
that's so
going on.
nice. Yes.
Rising, honey. It's the afternoon over here, but grand rising to you if that's where you are and you're in that time zone.
That's so fun.
Peace and love. Thank you. Okay, so we're gonna get this conversation started.
Okay. So I will tell you this. I start them like this. I am a guy from a place, Charm City, Bip Bip, the Vandal. Marquise is the name my mama gave me.
Okay.
I'm here with Jazz. She's the owner of this space in Glen Burnie, Maryland, Command Beauty Studio, right? So the first time I was here, a brother named Marcus Standback, Daily Growth Yoga,
Shout out to Daily Growth
invited me
Yoga.
into this space. You know, what was the event?
Niggas need love too.
We do. We really do.
Yes, y'all do.
I say.
I'm gonna get off this live because y'all distracted me.
Yes,
Gotta do the intro. Period.
Yeah, so we'll see y'all. See you in the free world. We posted. There we go. Look at that. I hope they have a good day.
Okay, just hit share. Okay, I'm gonna hold it right there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So yes, like Niggas Need Love was the first event. And since then, like there's been other things in this space that have been honoring other people in tribe, and like stretch therapy training was here. That was very fun and like informative, and I am grateful for you. I want to give you congratulations for your book.
Thank you. Thank you.
All of the things that I know are coming, all the events and all of the space that you'll be able to make because you turned your pain into power.
And still doing it. Still transmuting. So yeah, it's a journey.
It's like still Dre, like still like it doesn't end, but the gratitude for it not ending is what I've been sitting into. Like people are like, oh, you've done this, like it don't stop. Like I'm grateful to say I've done it, and even more grateful to be allowed to step into the person that has accomplished these things because they can go do new things. Like I can go into different directions now. You can have more agency. You still have to honor God and see what He wants for you above all else. But just knowing that there was a point where you had no vision. There was a point where everybody counted you out. There's a point where you show up to the church and you gotta what? You how long? We've been doing what? Well, who? Oh, not you. Oh, you supposed to be. And they revel in it, and they eat their breakfast talking about it, and then on the other side, they gotta step into this space and get some healing from you. You gotta get healed by the one who, not that one. So that's what this podcast has been for me. I'm a guy from a place because I'm everybody, and we all are everybody. But when we deny our capacity to be other people, we sit into this falsehood of like, couldn't be me. I wouldn't have gotten pregnant young. I wouldn't have lost my mind. I wouldn't be depressed. I wouldn't have killed myself, is what I've heard people utter from their lips. And it's nasty work. The nastiest. It's nasty to say what you wouldn't do. What is a blessing to be able to say is I was allowed to not have that mindset. I was allowed to be nurtured enough to love myself. And I'm grateful to be able to make space for people so they don't have to have those mindsets. That's a more real, that's more tangible. That's something to build on. But right now I'm seeing a lot of
That what you just said is the reflection of God that we crave and that we should be seeking, that we should be living by, right? That is our duty to be a child of God and reflecting God is by living in that space of gratitude and living in that space of love. So because someone makes a decision to we just talked about this having the spirit, right? Having these spirits attached to us, and it's so crazy how this week has been planning out. I'm gonna just tell y'all this. I follow Sarah Jakes Roberts, pastor. She is different. That woman is different. That woman is different, and she just had a sermon. I want to say it was last week, where she was talking about mirroring God, mirroring the image of God. And she spoke about having the spirit of anxiety, the spirit of fear, the spirit of depression, the spirit of lust, the spirit of alcohol, of addiction to certain things, of jealousy, of all these low vibrational things that penetrate our spirit and make us believe that that is what we're supposed to be doing. And it distracts us from our image that we're supposed to be portraying in this earthly realm, because our spirit is a reflection of God. But what do we do when we get here to this earthly plane? And how are we showing up? Do we have the strength? Do we have the power? Do we have the confidence? Do we have the ability and the capability, the discernment to know, like, actually, I'm not going to go there. And I'm not going to judge this person for feeling low or feeling depressed or having thoughts of suicide, when in fact, I'm going to pray for you. And I'm grateful that I don't have those thoughts and I don't have those moments and those feelings, but I see it on you. And I know that that is less than, and I know that that is beneath you. Like you said, the plane, you're flying your plane, but I see what's behind you. I catch your blind spot. So I'm going to pray for you, and I'm going to pray that spirit off of you, because right now you may not have the vision to see that it's on you. And that's how you reflect love. That's self-love to me. That's being that image of God. So when you are full in your spirit, it's easy for you to be able to see that somebody is not, they don't have it right now, and they need a village. They need somebody that's not going to sit up here and make them feel crazy for having these thoughts. But I see it, and we're going to pray that off you, because we got the power. So yeah, that is insane how this whole week has been playing out for that same message.
I have been grateful for the practice of yoga, the practice of breath work and mindfulness. It has made me hyper aware. So when I was speaking about empathy, right? Sometimes I recognize that some people need a villain, and that's a strange place to be, right? But I'll tell people I cursed my mother out about a year or two ago, and I told her about herself in a nasty way. I met her with the tools that I saw her walking with. And
you met her with the tools you saw her walking with. You met her where she was. You matched her energy.
And then I leveled up. I told my mother to her face, I don't like some of the things I see you doing. And I'm telling you, I'm not what they said I was. I'm not going to be a victim to my circumstance. I am capable. I'm going to do a podcast. I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to start recording myself. I'm going to make this music in the silence. I'm going to write more poetry. I'm going to publish it. I'm going to start I'm going to do these things that I tell people. Like, I remember when I first started eating different, I joked about it in my testimony post. I'm like, I'm the cousin who don't eat that at the cookout in 2018. And this is before it's popular. This is before.
What did you stop eating? How did you change your diet?
One step at a time. I always started with water first. Like, am I intaking water above all else, but all other beverages? And just cutting all other beverages gave me more agency over my palate. And I don't think enough people talk about that. But like, when there's sugar on your tongue, there's an inclination for sweeter foods. And that's my understanding. I won't say that to be a fact, but I know in my experience, I was drinking a lot of juice, a lot of soda. I was also eating different types of food. When I started just drinking water, eating vegetables, and eating fruit, it was a lot easier. Like, it actually was a lot more tasty. I remember there was a point where I didn't like the taste of water. And I used to joke about that with people. Like, I know some people right now who say, water tastes nasty. It's literally because your palate has been so inundated, or it's been habitually drinking things that don't mesh well. So the water has to come in and cleanse those things off your tongue. We are 70% water. So started with the water. Swine, they say don't eat swine in the Bible. Like they say, like everybody says don't eat pork. We see the videos about pork. I had to cut it. It was good when it was good, but when it went, it had to go. And then it was beef, no red meat. So the two big guys, the pork and then the cow, so I gotta go. Chickens, turkeys, and the rest of them stayed for a little bit. Cause every now and then I was out and I wanted some Chick-fil-A, let me get the Chick-fil-A. And it's like, I don't even need the chicken. Like I'm good on that. So it was cut these big picture things, insert these littler things. So maybe some more salads on a random, maybe a salad I haven't tried before, maybe something like quinoa, brown rice. Let me be explorative. Let me go try some sushi. Let me taste these things that I'm used to tasting in other formats. So let me try sushi with chicken.
That's a form of self-love.
Oh, that's where the journey started.
That's
it started with the solar plexus, the
healing your gut, healing your
gut.
motherboard. And everybody thinks that, our brain is what really operates our whole body, which it does. Yes, it does. I'm not a neurologist, so don't quote me. Okay. Okay. But I'm telling you what I know. All right.
From experience.
Hello. But our brains and our guts, they are connected together. Okay. So when you're feeding your body these things our body, they're systems. They are systems. It's a computer. Okay. Everything has a purpose. Everything functions and they need the other to function properly. So when one is not functioning properly, it puts more strain on the other. And that is what will cause you to have, or, you'll manifest certain ailments and stuff and certain diseases and viruses and cancers and whatever else. Right. So when everything is functioning properly, you can think clearly, you can move better, you can love better, but you can see better, you can hear better. Everything is in alignment.
Oh, when that clarity came.
And that clarity comes.
Ooh, and the grease in the house stink now?
When it stink, when you can come in and smell like, where is that smell?
It's not of me because it's not natural.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not telling anybody that you living wrong and that you ain't living right because you barbecuing and you fried chicken, because I am going to indulge in a grilled chicken wing. I'm telling you that I will, but I am not going to eat no red meat. That's where I draw the line. Okay. But when you get and it's not, I'm not saying that your gut health is going to be terrible if you do eat those foods too, in moderation.
That's the word.
In moderation.
That's the word. What I had to become aware of in my experience, and I'm taking shame out the game because there's a lot of shame in the game. I don't want anybody to try to change their life overnight. What I'm talking about is 2016 to 2024. 2018 was the first time I'm changing my diet. I had a lot of fallbacks. I fell back a couple of times and I kept moving forward. And I think we don't talk enough about what it looks like to fall back into something that you thought you overcame. I struggled with lust. We talked about that. I've struggled with it because I adopted that image young. So from a young age, I'm seeing, oh, that woman got her clothes off. Oh, from a young age, I'm watching adult films. At 12, I'm seeing it. Oh, now this is something that I go to when I'm bored. This is something I go to when I'm stressed. This is something I go to when she's not texting back.
When you're feeling like you're not receiving something, that is when you will exercise these different spirits, or you will let these different spirits penetrate your spirit.
To get fulfillment, it's false fulfillment.
False fulfillment.
And here we are. So that's why I'm like, awareness was, okay, I had to cut these foods because my mother cooked everything. And I also had a spirit of gluttony. If we're going to speak about spirit, we don't talk about gluttony enough in our community. You better clean that plate. Some people are capable of cleaning the plate. Some people are capable of cleaning 3 plates. I'm Mr. 3 plates. I just was a tiny body.
I can barely clean one. But that's a big thing. That's a real thing, because even growing up, like I remember being at the table and a certain, the generation before us, the generations, I'm talking like my great grandmother's generation, you do not get up from that table until you clean your plate. But that also comes from they're operating in a state of fear, in scarcity, because at one point in time, they didn't know where their meals was coming from. They didn't know. They had to scrabble up scraps.
You might not eat the next 3 days. Real.
And that's real. So, but I have food. I have plenty. I have an abundance of food. So I will never go hungry.
That's right.
I will never not have what I need, because I know that it is an abundance everywhere and it's always overflowing. So if I'm full, I'm going to eat until I'm full. I'm not going to eat because you're telling me that, oh, I have to, and then I feel sick and lethargic and I got the itis afterward. And now I need to go take a nap because I done overate. And now we're fighting obesity because now we're stretching our stomachs and our systems to have more capacity. And now it's sticking to us because we're also not eating healthy foods. So yeah, that's the spirit of gluttony.
Absolutely.
And that is not operating in a frequency of self-love. All of these things are tied into self-love. And I tell this to my students that self-love is not just taking a bath and drinking wine and turning your phone off. Self-love is a whole system. It is more than just cutting the world off, but it is what you're feeding your mind, what you're feeding your body, what you're feeding your spirit, and how you are utilizing these tools in your everyday life. So when you're filling yourself up with these things that make your computer run at the best capacity, at the highest capacity.
High speeds, high gratitude, high love, high vibration.
Okay. Then you start making room for these other negative energies and entities to come in and penetrate your space. And then you're feeling like, oh, I'm bored, so let me call so-and-so because I don't want to be alone today. Or I'm bad. You get where I'm going with this?
Now what's so beautiful, right? What will help a lot of people in their journey is fasting. I think Lent, like we're in the season of Lent, and I don't think people have a true understanding of fasting. They say when you fast, don't tell people you're fasting because that's a quick way to ruin it. It's like telling everybody you do good deeds, keep them to yourself. And
that also shows them, don't show them your hand. Yep. When you're fasting, that's between you and God.
Absolutely.
That's between you and God because
that's your secret place.
That's your sacred place. That's your sacred place. And that is when you're going to get the most clarity, the most downloads. You're going to be able to hear God better, right? So why would I tell somebody that that's the space that I'm in for you to try to distract me? And you don't even know that the enemy is going to be working through you because you're so oblivious to it, because you're not there enough to understand how important this space is. So why would I give you that authority over this sacred space? You don't. Ew.
That's why I said sometimes we got to step in as the villain.
Sometimes you got to step in as the villain, and setting boundaries will make you a villain in other people's story.
Some people had to be my villain. And that's what,
and I've had to be some other people's villain.
I'm grateful for it. And that's what's so wild. Like I've lost a couple people, quote unquote, but to even say something like loss is to assume that I own them, that I own their experience, that I possess their experience. I've lost nothing. I had some experiences with some individuals that pushed me forward, that propelled me forward. I was blessed to be told that podcast is bullshit. I was blessed to be told, fuck you doing at the gym. I was blessed to hear that from some of them. And I don't think we sit with that part of the doubters enough.
I was blessed to hear you think you better than everybody else. Maybe I am. And maybe you can be too.
Yes.
Maybe I am getting better.
I'm getting better.
I am getting better.
I'm getting lit. I'm turned up.
I'm
and
turned
it's by
up.
the grace.
And by the grace.
It's not by my own hand. It's by those prayers that I sent up on those dark days.
It's by that fast.
When the hot water was off and it's cold outside too.
It's by those boundaries that I set.
What?
It's by the shift in perspective of myself. It's by the acceptance of my mission and that what I'm called for. And I understand that I'm not regular.
In any capacity.
I'm not normal.
There's nothing average about.
I'm not average. I'm not average because the audacity of me to call myself average when I'm made in the image of God, because God ain't average.
You're made in the limitless. You were made by
How dare I disrespect that
truth, right? Right. And it's so unfortunate because the people who make it beyond what is considered the bottom, because they like to tier it. People who make it above, they use that concept to get to where they are. They had to look in the mirror and say, I'm not one of them. I'm not obesity. I'm not the feelings that these insecurities left behind from somebody taking advantage of me. I'm not these insecurities. I'm not that in any capacity.
Not in any capacity.
So,
and to be able to accept that, you're going to have to understand that it is going to take isolation, and you're going to have to leave certain things, certain places, certain people behind in order to get to where you're going. And that is okay. That doesn't mean that I don't love those people anymore. And we talked about that at my book launch party. It doesn't mean that I don't love those people anymore or that love no longer lives there. What it's telling me is that my love is expanding and my territory is expanding, and I'm being stretched and pulled to have a higher capacity. And therefore, I have to go somewhere new in order to fulfill that, in order for me to keep going, to keep growing, to keep elevating, and to keep the capacity within me to help other people heal and grow as well.
Amen. It is a, I talk about it. The prophet isn't praised in his own land. The poor man's wisdom is worth nothing. Just these concepts where you cannot pour from an empty cup in any capacity. You can't pour from a halfway cup. You can't pour from a cup
That's
that
80%.
Right, you can't do 80. Like, I just found this cool workout plan, y'all. I want y'all to come to the gym with me. You better keep going to that gym by yourself. You better expect that nobody's coming with you. That should be the start of it. Expect that you'll be alone. Do not assume that because you're joyful about your healing, that somebody is joining you on the walks. Somebody is joining you at the Juice Cafe. You'll meet somebody there.
And you may not even understand it. When we're being called to do something new and something different, you're never going to understand it at first. You're going to be questioning it. You're going to be just as confused as the next person. But Noah was confused too when he was told to build that ark.
Moses was confused when he was told to go speak to them people.
Hello?
What voice, God?
What are you talking about?
What voice I'm going to speak?
What voice? Like, I stutter. Why are you talking like
me?
You got the wrong person? God said, I ain't asked you all of that.
I asked you none of that.
I just told you to go do what I told you to do. And I got you from there.
Stand on business.
And stand on business.
Everybody say it. I don't see it. I always see it. I don't see a lot of standing. I see a lot of sitting and reminiscing. A lot of quitting. I don't know.
But that's that lack of confidence in your mission, in yourself, and understanding that you are capable. You don't always have to understand it. Like, I'm in a space right now where I'm starting to get the clarity of what I'm supposed to be doing. And I've been in this space for like 4 years where I'm like, I don't know where I'm going. I'm just going. You're doing it well. And doing it. But there's certain things that will come to me in certain moments, in very specific moments, where I'm like, oh, I get it. Oh, okay. All right, well, let me do it like this. And then I get to a new level. And then I'm sitting here again and I'm like, God, what is going on? Because what is going on?
I don't even want to know sometimes. I've said with that. I said if I knew all of the things that I would have to do to sit in this seat in this moment, when I was sitting,
it's gonna scare the mess out you.
When I was sitting back there in a hospital with people watching me, people coming in looking at me saying he's done for. Coming home, people throw me a birthday party. Oh, look at him. Is he all right? And I can hear her. Like, it's this sad thing that our culture does, where we see the elephant in the room, but we like to play like we like it. Like, oh, that elephant's so cute. It's a big ass elephant taking up all this space. It stinks.
And then have the craziest, wildest things to say about it behind that. You know what I mean? Like, instead of actually trying to just have more compassion for it. Yeah. But that's a reflection of what's going on inside. It's a reflection of what's going on inside. So when we are like with the elephant in the room, with the person that's going through some things, right? But that's a family member. So, we don't talk about Bruno, right? Bruno here, he family, but we don't really talk about Bruno. No, you probably should talk about Bruno. You probably should talk to Bruno because acknowledge Bruno more. Okay, because something is going on in Bruno that scared Bruno. And I'm using this for y'all. I'm a mother. I got kids. So if you ever seen Encanto, you know the song, We Don't Talk About Bruno. But at the end, Bruno ended up saving the day because he helped connect the dots. He helped fill in those missing puzzle pieces where the family was having had that broken spirit. Bruno came in and filled those pieces.
Amen.
Okay, so talk to Bruno.
Hey, I can't do anything but thank God. I've seen everything they didn't think I did. I remember everything they didn't think I was listening to. I was listening when the music was loud. I was there, and I was the fly on the wall, and I had my own experiences doing things I judged the adults above me for. I've now been in a couple of adult relationships with some amazing women and had no capacity to show up in a way that I believed I was supposed to. The way I said, I want men should be the, and I was not that should a couple of times. And it's irritating me at times, but I know I needed that lesson to fully understand that pride I had as a child, say, I'll never be like that to my mother, was cap. Because we're a lot more the problem than we realize, but we also are the solution. That's what makes us the solution. Acknowledging the problem we can be in culture. And I think right now, our community has an opportunity, a window to really step into this next 50 years in a different way, showing up in a way that is magical. I mean, what you have here and what so many people in this area, like Maryland right now, I'm gonna say Maryland. Like, I love Baltimore. I could preface that, but like, it's a lot going on here. I'm seeing so many content creators rap in Maryland. I'm seeing so many new podcasts in the city. I'm seeing so many entrepreneurs, artists, even people in corporate, in engineering. Like, we have people in spaces right now. We have to get to a point of like, okay, you're there. How do I access you? How accessible are you? How many doors can you open for this person? Jazz has this space for events. You said you got a book launching. How do we get you in here talking about your book with other Black women and how you overcame, so they can take those seeds, put them in their pot, and they flourish whenever they do, right? But we just starting to plant these seeds, and it, like I said, I get overwhelmed at times thinking about it, but for anybody out there, the smallest thing to do is just start. Like, what was the start for you? What was your little thing that got your snowball? You turned your snowball into the avalanche.
I think my snowball started a long time ago when I was fired from my job back in 2017. That's when my snowball started. And I didn't realize that prior to me getting fired from that job, the year before I went to school to be an esthetician, and I got my license as an esthetician. And I also got certified in microblading for permanent makeup. I also got certified in lashes, all within like the same year. And at the time I was just like, yeah, these are going to be good to have, but I didn't fully understand the capacity, and I didn't understand where God was taking me with those certifications. And so when I got fired, I was sitting there and I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm a mother. I have to take care of my kid. I went into survival mode. And that's when I sat with it for a moment, and I'm like, okay, so let me go ahead and apply to other companies that fit my current resume, not realizing that I have a whole new resume. And that resume took me to where I am today. And that's when I just started doing brows. One of my good friends, he's the owner of a barbershop, and I'm not going to disclose it because we're not supposed to be doing these things in the barbershop. But anyway, a shout out to my good friend who let me use their space. And then another good friend who is a cosmetologist, she let me operate out of her space. She shared her space with me. And just having people that see something in you that you don't quite see in yourself just yet, that is what pushed my snowball even further down the hill, right? So coming from there, that's when I worked at a tattoo shop, learned from some very phenomenal tattoo artists on more skills on brows. And then I opened up my very first like office suite. So I found this office building. They had a space available, and I flipped it into a Command Beauty. That was his first location for Command Beauty, under its own name. And then during the pandemic, when the world was shutting down and everybody is, businesses are literally closing their doors, God said, hold on, because I got something else for you. And in November 30th, 2020, I got my keys to this studio. And here we are in 2024, where I am now pivoting again, and I'm more than just beauty, because now I'm wellness. But I had to go through the gutter in order to learn how to take care of my own well-being.
Is that where you met God?
That's where I met God. I met God in the gutter.
happens.
And we when you think about the gutter, we think of gutters being like dark and dirty, right? And you're alone, you're isolated.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And it's beautiful. It's scary, it's terrifying, it's cold, it's lonely, but I wouldn't change it. I would go through it again if I had to. Now, listen, Lord, don't take me there again. I feel like I've learned a lot. I'm not saying that I want to, but I'm saying that.
Gratitude for the lessons learned.
Okay, gratitude for the lessons learned. But I'm saying that I'm grateful for that space that I was in, because that darkness, that soil that I was in is what it was. My seeds, they were planted. Those roots grew out, and that flower, the girl is blossoming. Hello, you hear me? Okay.
Bro, roses through the concrete.
Through the concrete. Ooh. How did she get there? Don't ask me, ask God.
Psalm 91. He who dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the. I'm a little off, but this,
I love that. I don't know it word for word. I'm not going to sit up here and act like I know what I read it frequently, because it's comforting. And even Psalms 23 for me, that's the one right there for me. Walking through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil.
I remember when I was young, my grandmother used to force us in the church, and I grew
up in church too.
I wasn't feeling it at first, because I had a mix of energies in my life. I like the chaos a little bit. I came up in a little bit of some chaos, but Grandma used to make us pray every night when we would stay with her. So she said, "Get on your knees, pray beside the bed, and y'all gotta know 2 prayers." Oh, so much, but that's what's so funny right now. Right now, a lot of people say affirmation, manifestation, all of these, and then do those, but add that prayer in and pray the prayers that have been prayed. Pray the prayers that have been prayed.
Pray the prayers that have been prayed is also equivalent to why reinvent the wheel. Reinvent the wheel. Just keep scooting the wheel down.
I sat into it. I'm living in prayers that I prayed at 10. The 10-year-old who's like, why do you keep going all of this? Why people in my city? The 10-year-old who's in confusion. The 15-year-old who's in confusion. The 20-year-old who's rebuilding himself in uncertain. Like, I'm living in his prayers, then I'm living in mama's prayers when she's walking around with me in her belly. I'm living in grandma's, like I'm living in so many other people's prayers that I'm passing some forward. At the same time, it's like, time isn't a construct. Like I was laughing with Jupe yesterday. Last night I picked up from the airport. So she was just in South Africa. So we're laughing about how the concept of like she's 7 hours ahead, but like she's texting people and it's daytime. It's like the construct of time is so goofy when you really think about the concept that we're blocking time off based on how the sun is moving. We're on the earth. If we sit still, the sun's gonna move regardless. Why are we tracking the time like that? If somebody's experiencing, when another person experiences the sun, I'm experiencing dark, but we're still existing in the same plane. Like if we're on the same time, essentially, it's just we're gonna construct it with time. So if it's 7 a.m. in Germany and it's 12 midnight here, me and my brother exist at the same point. But
the clock just says something different.
The clock just says something different. So it's like, if I can acknowledge that, okay, well, this person who lived in 1965, they're gone, but like the body's still on this plane with us. Their spirit is still here. They still acknowledge them in museums. The energy hasn't left. George Washington's still on that dollar bill, right? There's a monument to his body. There's a plantation where cotton was picked. My grandfather's energy is still very much in me. I still see him walking with a toothpick and a Kangol and his lokes. He had his sunshades on and had a Bible. And like I still see those things. Like he's in a room with me. So the biggest thing I'll mention, grief. Sacrifice involves grief. And sometimes we have to sacrifice our attachment to things. A lot of times we have to sacrifice our attachments. What was it like to grieve the person you were? Because at times I believe, in my experience, my backslides are related to grieving something so much. I miss you. And I'm gonna just look at this thing that I don't normally look at. I'm gonna just go to this place I don't normally go to just see. And it may be a moment where that something jumped on to me when I went in that space I don't go to no more. Well, what has that been like in your experience? Have you experienced that at all?
Sacrificing who I used to be also meant or means sacrificing the things that brought me comfort in those moments. Think about the meme where the little girl, she had the teddy bear and she was like, but I don't want to give it up. Like, I really love it. It's my favorite. But God's behind his back, like, but just trust me. Right. So that's what it was for me. She didn't know that God had a bigger teddy bear waiting for her. And it's so funny because I think I'm kind of in that space right now where I have to let go of what once worked in order to accept the change for what is to work to come, what the work that is coming, right? But grieving the old versions of me meant forgiving a lot of the things that I did, and understanding that I used what I had in that moment to the best of my ability in that moment. But I have a new awareness. I have expanded knowledge now. I have expanded resources now. But that also meant that I had to kind of let go of certain relationships that I had with other people too. Or and I had to set boundaries that with other people that were attached to the person that I used to be. Learning the art of detachment, understanding that I don't own anything. Nothing belongs to me. People don't belong to me. Places don't belong to me. Everything has a start and an end. So, but an end does not always mean that it is a tragedy. It could be very much so. It's all a blessing, right? But being rejoicing in that and giving it gratitude and giving it love and just being thankful that I was able to experience that and being thankful that I was able to go through those moments and through those lessons in order to get to who I am today. But it took a lot of tears, a lot of prayer, and a lot of journaling, and gratitude. So yeah, forgiveness and just understanding that, hey, we're always growing and I accept my growth. And I also accept that other people are not going to accept my growth. And that is not my problem. It's not my problem. It is not my duty to convince you to see the value in me. It's not my duty to convince you to see the growth in me. It's not my duty to convince you to grow too. But I'm going to keep growing. And I hope that what you see in me will inspire you to do the same thing when you're ready.
The me versus me.
Me versus me.
That's all we're ever dealing with. That's why it's like, it's such a blessing to recognize the relationships of a mirror. They're a mirror. And like when I said, sometimes you're somebody's villain. Sometimes I'm in a space with somebody who reflects an older version of me. And I haven't given full forgiveness or grace to myself for the things I went through or the ways I was complicit with my suffering.
Yeah. And it'll take us to get into a situation where it's like a lesson, right? To where we're like, oh no, it's okay. Like, let me spin the block. And then you're like, this what I left the first time. Like, I don't got no business being here. And that's not just romantic relationships, that's friendships, that's places of employment. Sometimes people will go back to places where they work because the paycheck was good, but then you forgot how toxic that environment is. Sometimes people will go back to a restaurant, they'll give a restaurant another chance, but then you forgot, like, bro, I actually hate this food. It's too salty, or it doesn't taste like anything. I forgot that the service was terrible here.
Like you're trying to create the joy you knew and you can't get anywhere near it.
You can't
like
get anywhere near it because you are not how do I say this? Going back to certain places that no longer serve you. You can't fit there anymore.
Oh, you said it perfectly.
So it's like, why would I try to, in those, like those magicians, or like when you go to like the circus or something, you see that person that like folds himself up into a box just to say like, oh, I'm a contortionist, right? So I can bend and shake and get into this small space that is unnatural to me, that I'm not comfortable here. So why would I keep trying to squeeze at this table when there's a much larger, I got room over here. I'm able to move and be me and be free over here. So why would I shrink myself to fit in a space that I've outgrown? And then it takes us sometimes to try to put that shoe back on, and then your foot's all cramped up and you just can't fit it no more.
Oh, Oh, you talking? You're speaking a language that I enjoy. That is magical. Oh my! I, that's the one. That's the one in this season. Because sometimes advancement for me looked like a lot of guilt. It looked like a lot of, well, they did show up for me in this way, so I can show up for them. But then I forget about all the times they allowed me to go lonely when I was moving forward to heal. They didn't help me to get to the appointments I needed to get to. They didn't have space to help me get to the gym. They didn't want to come to the gym with me. And then I'm like, oh, this person won't work out now. Let me go pick them up and take me. And it ain't real. That ain't real. And it's not personal. And I've really had to sit into like the lack of like intention behind some of this stuff. A lot of people are centered in their experience, and that is not a problem. I think when we can center ourselves in our experience in a way that allows doors to be open for others, that is a major blessing. And sometimes it looks like you have the door closed, but you really don't. You're just holding the door open, and the people who are intending to walk through it understand the assignment.
Yeah, it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody, and that's okay. Just because somebody helped you one time, or that just okay, you've shared experience with somebody in the past, it does not mean that they have to go with you in the future. It just does not. And people are going to drift off, and they're going to grow, and they're going to go in other directions. And guess what? That's okay, because I'm gonna still cheer you on over there.
Amen.
And I'm going to continue down where I'm being called this way. And when I am going down this way, I understand that I'm going to meet other people who are going down this way. And that's my community and my tribe for where I am in this season. But it doesn't mean that I don't love these people that's over there or don't give them gratitude over there, because we were at a crossroads together at one point in time. But you were called to go that way, and I was called to go this way. You don't have to take everybody with you. So that guilt, success guilt, healing guilt, right? Growth guilt, those things are real. And sometimes you'll feel those things and those ways about people that you love the most in your life, such as family, such as friends, such as relationships, such as business partners, such as whoever. It doesn't matter. We are all here for experiences. Some people are our DNA family, and other people are our soul family. Those that get it. And those that don't.
And that's all right.
And that's all right. That's all right. You may not get it today, but you might get it tomorrow.
I swear I'm cheering on so many people that don't even follow me anymore. They don't.
And that's fine.
And it is so liberating.
Okay.
It is so joyful and blissful to sit into the clarity, the peace, and the purpose that has been instilled in me, where I can see the benefit in getting robbed as a kid. Like people, I can't have those conversations with people who don't have understanding. I used to say, yeah, like I got beat up in front of a 7-Eleven. Oh my gosh. It was like, oh, well, it's me at first. And I was like, yeah, I started doing mad push-ups after that. And I started doing crunches in the crib. And I was a track star. Like if the street lights came on and I'm like 4 blocks from the crib, I'm down the street. Like I'm running. Like I don't care who see me running no more. Like I lost the embarrassment for a lot of things. So I already had the ultimate humiliation in my mind. I'm beat up in front of a 7-Eleven in 4th grade. 4th grader went to go get a soda from the store, gets beat up. They take the money, they take the soda, and I'm just laying on the curb in front of the 7-Eleven for who knows how long. I passed out. I come to, I walk in the store, the guy said, we didn't see nothing. I've been laying in front of your store for a little bit. I was just
bring your cameras. So like that's the craziest thing when people, okay, you know that when we pray like God give me the strength. Okay? You can't be mad when God starts training you.
Ooh.
You can't be mad when God starts. You can't be mad when God starts training you, when God starts building those muscles. So I was working with this personal trainer a couple of years ago, and he said something to me. He was like, "You're gonna have to rip your muscles in order for them to get stronger, in order for them to grow. Those growing pains." So let's say when you're athletes, right? They train for those big games. We just watched the Super Bowl a couple of weeks ago. Those athletes trained for that championship. They trained for it. They went through pain to get there. They went through pain. So they went through different type of struggles. They went through all kind of stuff, trials and tribulations, right? Boot camps and workshops, all these different things to train, to build that strength up and that endurance up and that stamina up for that game. So if God, I'm asking you to give me the strength to get through whatever it is that I'm going through, he's like, all right, bet. She's like, okay, bet. You're not going to like it. It's going to hurt.
Oh, sure.
But when you get through the other side, you're going to be strong enough to deal with that.
Let me say this. I told somebody and they were very perplexed. They were upset. I said, is comfort exclusive to joy? Is joy exclusive to comfort? Is joy always a comfortable experience? They said, yes, it should be. I said, that's cute.
That's cute.
I said, that's cute. But after you won a championship game and you sweat your life out,
And you can't breathe
you
a little
can't
bit.
breathe, and your quad is
Your legs are
twitching.
shaking.
Your legs are shaking.
You think you about to throw up. Some people do throw
you
up.
probably throw up.
You need some water.
You're not joyful when you grab that championship
But you're
trophy.
shaking, okay?
You're not joyful when you get celebrated by your peers. You're not
When the
joyful
confetti drops.
when the confetti drops. You're not joyful the days that like
But that next day your body is in pain and you need rest.
So that's the part. So it's like I've had to sit into the gratitude for every part of the process. And I think it is very difficult for some of us to get to that. I'm not going to say it's easy. I'm not going to pretend that it feels good all the time because it hurts. It hurts to, that's why I say grief, because the process of grieving is understanding like, oh, you're gone. But you lived in a way that has impacted me to show up for others in the way that you showed up for me. You're gone, but you're not. But you will live through me. It's a different energy. It's a different understanding. It's a different truth. So it's like, I hear people say, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. I said, how does Jesus live through you?
How are you reflecting?
How do you reflect it?
How are you reflecting?
You're so grateful for the sacrifice he's made for you, and this is how you show up. And I've had to acknowledge it. That's the accountability. That's why I've said, as I did, I've struggled with the last couple of relationships I've been in with beautiful Black women. I'm the reason. And I'm going to own that. I don't think it's enough people having that conversation.
Sometimes you are the problem. When they ask, like, what's the problem? You have to understand that sometimes it's you.
It's okay.
And it's okay. And how do you find the solution? What's the solution to the problem now? Because you're literally reflecting. Your outside world is a reflection of your inside world. So if you are causing chaos, or if you're noticing that it's a lot of chaos in your relationship, you need to understand that there's chaos going on within inside of you, and you need to address that. So you need to go on ahead and hit that gutter and do that shadow work and be in isolation.
Book 3 on the way.
Okay. So that way you can grow and develop and heal and really kind of integrate that stuff. So people can acknowledge their shadows and they can say like, oh yeah, I have this, right? Or I deal with this. But okay, now how are you going to transmute that energy into something more beautiful? You have to recognize it. You have to acknowledge it. And you have to integrate it. So yeah, I am a person that I experience anxiety. That is the spirit of anxiety. That is a shadow of mine, right? I experience those things, but it's not me. So when I'm feeling it, I'm going to sit with it. I'm going to acknowledge it, and I'm going to send it on its way. Thank you for trying to protect me from something that has not even happened yet. But I'm going to choose for my thought process. I'm going to choose for it to go this way instead of the way that you fear it to be.
Like, let me show you something.
Let me show you something.
Let me show you something different.
Let me show you something different.
Speaking of this, let me show you something different.
Let me show you something different.
Maybe I can speak in front of this room.
Maybe I can.
And have a joyful day.
And that's reflecting that spirit. That's reflecting the spirit. That's self-love.
I said, y'all coming with me. Oh, we depressed? No, we not depressed.
Not depressed, but you're clearly, you see something that I don't see. My undercarriage, which you said to me earlier, you see something in my undercarriage earlier. So I'm going to use you as a protection from that particular thing happening, but I'm going to still go stand in front of this room and share my story. I'm going to still sit here with you and talk about these things on this camera when I've always told people, oh, I went to school for television and film because I want to be behind the camera. I want to be behind the camera. I've always said that I don't want to be in the spotlight. I want to be behind the camera, but God keeps telling me like, why? When I have something to say and I need to say it through you.
He said, I need you in my light. And
Hello?
This is what's so fun, right? I was the shy kid. I was
shy
the
kid.
one with his shoulders hunched over,
Same.
accepting his principal's list award. Don't look at me. I'm the tallest in the class.
The tallest in the class.
Every class I'm in.
Every class.
Hi.
The tallest one.
I duck off.
And then it was awkward because I was a girl. And so I'm taller than the boys in my class. And so they had their own whatever they felt towards that. And it's being a big energy. I didn't understand how big my light was and how radiant my light was, and understanding that I don't have to dim it in order to make somebody else feel bright or feel more worthy or feel more valuable. My light can still shine extremely bright and reflect the light that's in you, and then we can supernova this place.
Oh God.
Okay.
It's so funny because it was all these little things. Like I was seen when I didn't want to be seen. It's all these things. I'm always in the light. I'm like, I don't want to be in the light. It's like, but everybody knows who you are already. What are you
Other
afraid
people
of?
see the light in you that you don't quite see the light in yourself. So they're seeing the value in you that you don't see in yourself just yet. But it's putting you into the space here where you can create this podcast, and you can have these conversations, and you can have these different books, and you can write these different these songs. You can open a studio in a world pandemic. You can talk about self-love. You can say, you know what? I'm more than just brows and makeup. I'm a life coach, and specifically, I'm a self-love coach. And even more specifically, I'm gonna teach women and men, not just women, but I'm going to support my brothers because I know that I need y'all. I'm not one of those. I don't need no man. I do, and I do.
I need my sisters,
and I do, and we do.
Need y'all. We need y'all,
and we need y'all.
Bad. I'm not gonna lie.
And we need y'all. So there was this. I don't remember who said this, and if somebody tag them below,
good. I'm
right?
gonna say we up good. We're headed up. We're headed upward. I just want to drink that for that.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yes. I saw something that said, like, we need to put an end to these men versus women podcasts where women are doing this, but men are doing this. And we have women that'll sit up here and say, well, I need my man to do this. And we have a man that come here and say, well, I need my woman to do this. Okay, but did y'all hear each other? Or are you just talking just to talk? Are you comprehending what is being said? Okay, so if we're both saying that we need more of X, Y, and Z in each other in order for me, your whole computer system. In order for me to thrive properly in my divine feminine energy, I need you to thrive in your masculine energy. And we reflect that yin and yang so that way we can both operate in our masculine and feminine because we both carry those things. So are we listening to comprehend or are we listening to respond? Which one are you doing? So having these spaces where we can talk about it and we can uplift and empower each other versus one versus the other because we need each other to operate and thrive properly in this life. How do we do that? How do we move forward from there? We create space for it. We hold space for it. We hold courageous space for it. We hold brave space for it. We hold loving space for it and compassionate space for it. Not just you can come here and say whatever you want to say and then you leave feeling still empty. How do you leave feeling full?
Amen. I've been sitting with the thought of, I don't know how to express what I need all the time. I think there have been blocks around what my needs were. Dating sometimes from a savior's complex, or even making friends from that standpoint, making friends with somebody who's struggling with something I used to struggle with so that I can help them overcome. What do you feel is the best way to date or to seek out a partner in this moment? Like I struggle with relationship advice, but what has your experience been like?
You're probably just simply not ready to date. That's the thing right there. You're probably just not ready to date, and that is okay. There's still some more discovery that you have to do within yourself for you to be able to hold space and romantic space for other people, and that is okay. We are, how old are you?
27.
You're 27. Okay. So, I'm a girl, right? Or I'm a grown woman right now, but when I was younger, for girls, we were, and this is still for girls, we're programmed to grow up, be a wife, be a mother, have a career, balance it all, right? That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to do those things, but you don't have to do it on anybody else's time frame. And just because you are alone does not mean that you are lonely. Maybe you need to heal that space in you to how you can even be around and be comfortable in feminine energy. So maybe have more girlfriends. more female friends, more goddess friends, more empress friends. Have more women that are thriving in their feminine energy just around you, be in that space more so that way it'll heal that in you. That's what I'm gathering from that. You're probably just not ready to be in a romantic relationship, and that's okay. But you are ready to be in community with women and men so that way that space can be filled for you and heal you and show that reflection in you and help even illuminate the spaces that you do need to heal and that you do need to kind of improve on. So that way then you are more prepared for your next relationship and you're not in those same situations that you've been in. You're going to get off the hamster wheel. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not one of those little life coaches that's gonna tell you what you want here. I'm gonna tell you what you need here.
No,
Okay?
that's
Whether
all.
you like it or you're not, but I mean it in love.
That's all I want.
I mean that with love and respect. Because if I am a mother, I have a daughter and a son. I would be doing them a disservice that when they become older and they're like, how do I operate in this situation? Or what am I doing in this situation? I'm not going to baby them. I'm not going to coddle them. I'm not going to tell them what they want to hear. I'm going to tell them what they need to hear. I have siblings. I'm the oldest of 4. If they come to me and ask me, what does this mean? That's a no. Anything that comes to you in confusion is a no. If you have to question it, if you have to second guess it, if it's leaving you in a space where you're like on the fence, like, well, I think this is, or I think this isn't, it's not. So give it gratitude and it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
I did need that extra push. I said it to myself. I wanted to hear it out loud. Oh, you don't need to date right now. You know,
you just don't, and that's okay.
It's absolutely
okay. And you can have friends, but when you go into these friendships, you have to make it clear to them, listen, I want to be your friend. And how do you hang out with your friends? And this is where that whole can men and women be friends without having sex or without having relationship? Because we can. Yeah, we can. But you have to lose that mentality of just like every woman in my life or every man in my life, they want to date me or they want to sleep with me or they want to do these things. Don't take my kindness for flirtation because I'm just being kind to you. I'm not flirting with you. If I was flirting, you would know. Yeah.
It would be a clear,
direct flirt and intentional flirtation. So you have to just be around people. You can hang out with your friends. Go make some friends and be in that energy that was going to help heal that space for you to help better you in your relationships.
I will say, and I'll have to say this off the record, but I'm grateful for that clarity. I've had a lot of experiences, a lot of gratitude, a lot to reflect on. I would say that I feel like I'm in a different season, the season you spoke on, and I'm building. And I'm grateful to be able to. Like we're blessed. If you haven't, Free to Be Me.
Free to Be Me, Self-Love Freedom Statements and Affirmations is now available. It is on Amazon, but you can also follow me on Instagram at BoralGoddess_Jazz, JAS, and click that cute little link in my bio and buy my book and buy one for your friends and your mother and your father and everybody that you love. Buy my book.
Cousin and your cousin.
Okay, everybody.
Yes. We are authors. We are entrepreneurs. We are stretchy, flexy therapists. You know what I'm saying? We're yogis.
We're multifaceted beings. We're limitless, infinite opportunity to excel in every lane that you want to. You have the ability to reinvent yourself as many times as you want to because we are here for a good time, not a long time, and the rules are fake. So forget that they told you to graduate from high school and go to college and get a degree and go to work from 9 to 5, 4 days, 5 days a week and request time off from work. Now, if, I'm not telling that it's not for everybody. It's not for everybody. And I understand that. If it's for you, it's for you. And if it's not, take that leap of faith and accept that call that God is pushing you towards and go do it. Go do it bravely. And you can be afraid, but choose to be brave as well.
Radical honesty. very honest with yourself. Like, and check your fears. The thing you're afraid of, maybe the thing that you are.
Okay.
It's okay. It's okay to be the dude on stage at the assembly. It's okay to be proud of and loud, and it's okay to be those things. Just do it with grace and do it with God.
Amen. Ashe.
As I always say, I am a guy from a place. Charm City Bip, Marquise the Vandal. Marquise is the name my mama gave me. I'm here in a space, in some time. I'm grateful, feeling great, feeling fine. One day made better, as many days made greater. I'm uplifting you to be in a world that cares. If I keep it to myself, I think that's unfair. The joys we're given are best when shared. Visionaries never die, legends survive. Through the seeds we sow daily, we get better with time. We are built in private, blessed in public. Whether they like it or love it, the process is trusted. Bip bip. Yeah. We were searching for the right way, did a lot of wrong. Can't go back, gotta move on. Gotta move forward, corrections given and accept the living. Still brings pain, even when you're moving with the best intentions. And you blessed with visions, enjoy bliss, peace. Gratitude for every day I live to speak and I live to breathe in growth and abundance.